And we're off. Good luck to both racers. So every time we start an Earthbound run, we get to watch this lovely 1 minute, 8 second cutscene. Every Earthbound runner will learn to love and cherish this cutscene. Obviously, I'm joking, but you know, it does give you a nice little break, especially if you rip a run. You can turn right around, start another one, and hey, you can check Discord, check your phone. You know, we all need a minute, 8 second break in our lives. So starting out here, things are pretty simple in the beginning. Both racers are going to go in and they're going to grab the cracked bat out of Tracy's room. Now, this is actually required. It is not required that you equip it, but it is required that you pick it up, or it is actually impossible to leave the house. Pokey will just sit there and nag at you like, hey, Ness, don't you think you should get something? But obviously we want the bat anyway. And we're just going to go ahead and pick it up right now. We haven't even seen Pokey yet, but we know what he's got coming, and we're prepared for him. Now, this right here, there doesn't really seem like there's much going on. There's no spawns, and it's just like every RPG. You know, you've got the introductory period, but a lot of time can be saved or lost just on pathing. Really doesn't look like it, but every time you bonk on something and get stuck, you're basically losing about a second. So as you can see, SaltyPhry has a very, very minor lead. That's probably just due to slightly more optimal pathing, not bumping into anything. Another thing that is probably more important than it really seems is not overmashing. So both runners optimally close the text box because they're both mashing either probably A and L or B and select to advance the text boxes. And it's very, very easy to continue mashing after the text box, after the text is done, and you'll open up a menu and close it. And again, it might not seem like much, but over the course of a run, it does add up. And if you do it in front of an NPC, you can actually double talk to them, which really hurts because then you'll get all the additional text. So somebody's knocking. Let's go see who it is. Right there, SaltyPhry had to dodge Tracy. Looks like kekumanshoyu had a free walk. I'll tell you, the NPCs in this game, it really seems like they know you're coming, and they're just trying to play solid defense. So basically, Pokey's telling you a story. He's saying that, you know, Picky ran off. Really, it was Pokey. We all know it was Pokey. He got scared and ran away. So right there, you saw, as I was saying before, Nessa's mom told you to get the bat. So this is probably the intended time to get the bat if you hadn't gotten it already. But since both runners have already gotten it, we're going to be able to get out of the house just fine. And this is where the run really begins right here. You're going to get a phone call from Dad. Right there, you try to leave, Dad calls, and after Dad call, you're leaving the house, and spawns are back on. Spawns were actually disabled on that first walk. But once you run out this door, it's game on. You're going to see a few different strategies. There can be 3 enemies out here. You can get a dog, a crow, or a snake. Okay, so SaltyPhry got a dog, good spawn. Oh, kekumanshoyu also got a good spawn. You can just walk right by those. Okay, the snake can be stuttered. SaltyPhry is choosing not to stutter. He's going for the despawn. Keku also got a snake. This is actually 100% spawn. SaltyPhry got a crow he could walk by. These crows will sometimes run from you. Okay, Keku was able to get a crow that ran. Oh, nice strat by SaltyPhry there, getting behind the bush. Ooh, Keku with the lucky green. Somehow you can green those dogs from the front. If you get a green swirl, it's a 100% chance to run away first turn. Oh, unfortunately, Keku was unable to get past the crow with his iframes. You have about 3 seconds of iframes after a fight in which enemies will not aggro, meaning come towards you, and you actually are unable to get an encounter. So SaltyPhry is already talking to Picky. That was a very good hill for SaltyPhry. Okay, so you see the crow dodging a lot with kekumanshoyu. That's because crows actually, for some reason, have very high speed. I believe it's 79. It's in, or 77. It's definitely in the 70s. And that is what leads to Ness missing a lot. Okay, Keku decided to eat the cookie. Another possible strat would be to save that for later in the run. You need to give a food item to Apple Kid. Sometimes runners will hold on to that, although it does take up an inventory slot. You'd really rather buy hamburgers here coming up. All right, so Keku has made it up the hill as well. So now, after talking to Picky, spawns actually turned back off. So it's a completely free walk back down to Starmie Jr., which is the first boss of the game. So SaltyPhry is already making it down the hill. You're going to see him pick up the bread roll unless he already got it on the way up, but most people will get it on the way down. I don't think I saw him get it. Yeah, there we go. By waiting to pick up the bread roll, at least by not getting it on the first walk, you eliminate the possibility of the crows stealing your bread roll, because sometimes those guys, you know, they're hungry. A crow's got to eat. You got a bread roll? That's my bread roll. So this fight coming up, actually, you cannot lose with an asterisk on it, because if you really want to lose, you can, but you have to grind until you get shield with Ness, and you can cast a shield to override Buzz's shield, and then Starman can kill you. But barring that, it's actually impossible to lose this fight. What you're looking for here is for high damage rolls from Buzz when he does physical attacks. Okay, Starman is on guard. That's very good. 96 was pretty good from Buzz. Now, fire here is the worst because it goes on every kid. It's an area of effect attack. So every single kid, you get the text saying that the fire was reflected. That's the worst thing you can get. Freeze isn't too bad because it only goes on one kid, but as you can see, Starman likes playing with fire. But you know what they say about playing with fire. You get burned. Starman's going down. Keku is now making it to Starman Jr. as well. Let's see what kind of fight he gets here. Should be about dead for SaltyPhry, probably on the next Buzz hit. Get a lot of fires for Salty. That's some bad RNG. Okay, Keku got okay, Salty down Starman. Almost got the sub 8 Starman, which is a very good non-RNG manip time. Yo, Keku lucking out with these freezes. That's very good for Keku. He's making up some time here if he can get some high damage rolls from Buzz here. Yo, Keku didn't know it, but he's fighting Sub-Zero with all these freezes. Yo, that was a very good. So Keku had a little bit of a worse hill, but he definitely made up some time here on the Starman fight. That was very good. Now you're going to see right here, Buzz is going to get swatted and he's going to die. And that's actually the trigger for spawns turning back on. So you're about to see SaltyPhry resume control of Ness right now. Right now, spawns are back on. So, you know, Buzz died, but he's got to tell you his life story. Because, you know, why not? Why not? So you actually have to mash properly here. It's very easy to lose time if you're not paying attention. So mashing the A and L buttons together will automatically select yes right there. And then you have to switch to mashing B and select because he asks you if you want to hear it again, which I don't know why anybody would want to, but sometimes we do on accident. So coming up, you're going to see Salty get the question. Okay, so he actually already got it. I missed it. There you go. Got the soundstone. Proper mashing. You know, it seems like something simple, but sometimes we take simple things like that for granted, and it's very easy to just not, you know, just have a momentary lap and focus, space out, hit the wrong button, and then Buzz talks a lot. So there's a few spawn plates up here that you could possibly have to deal with. Nothing too major. They're not very high. Looks like Salty's getting a free walk. Yep, very good. He's going to go grab the Mr. Baseball cap, and we only get the baseball cap to sell it. Look at this secret treehouse. You didn't even know this was here, did you? Shh, it's a secret. Don't tell anybody. So the reason that Salty equipped the hat is because he's going to buy another hat. But due to the way that the shopkeepers work in this game, you will be prompted to sell it, and it's faster to sell it when it's already equipped. Get the burger out of the trash, because you know one man's trash is another man's treasure. Probably going to see him withdraw 40 here, which is really all you need to fund the escapades. Some people pull out 50. Yep, there we go. Keku getting the hat, clean menuing. So we're going to be getting some gear here. The T-ball bat, the baseball cap, and then notice right here, prompt to sell, and then also get the cheap bracelet. The cheap bracelet is an extra 5 points of defense. So it looks like Salty's going for a despawn here, or a spawn skip. Yep. So if you come down, go to the back of the hospital, and then walk down this way, you actually will not have any spawns right there. Looks like he must have messed it up a little bit, unless those aren't included in the despawn. But he's taking a roundabout method. There we go. And he'll be able to get in using iframes into the arcade. Oh, looks like Keku's having an issue here. He must have told the shopkeeper no that he didn't want to equip the hat, because it looked like he went in and manually did that. Yo, Salty with the smash. That's some good RNG. So Keku, likewise, doing the skip. No spawns, take the fight. Oh, it looks like Salty's going to go for the can of fruit juice. Okay, he's going to go ahead and use the fruit juice before this second shark. Ooh. Okay, Keku chose to eat the bread roll in the fight. Let's see if he goes for the can of fruit juice. That's not an item that everybody always gets. Let's see if he gets it. Nope, he's going straight in. Looks like Salty had a clean fight. This is neck and neck. This is pretty close. So these Pogo Punks can do 2 attacks. They can either, well, they have 3 actions. They can charge forward, which is a strong attack. They can fall down, which is useless, and then they can see, oh, Keku falling to the Pogo Punk. So he's going to have to actually walk back from Ness's house, which is going to require him to get a photo trigger. Luckily, he can talk to Mom to restore his psychic points. Sometimes you really get into a tough spot with those charge forwards. That Pogo Punk just kept doing his strong attack there. But he's not out of it yet. Anything can happen. This is Earthbound after all. So it looks like Salty's having a pretty good Frank fight here. What you really don't want is for him to brandish a knife. That's his strong attack right there. Saying something nasty is the best thing he can do. Basically, the strat on Frank is you just heal every time he hits you. You know, it might sound counterintuitive, like, hey, I thought this was a speed run. How are you going to heal every time? But you cannot play risky on Frank. You just can't. He'll die. So on Frankenstein, he always does Steam, weak attack, Steam, strong or weak attack, and then he continues doing Steam, stronger, weak. Ooh, Keku got a snake fight there, but luckily at this point, he's strong enough to instant win, which means he doesn't even have to go into the fight. Looked like he almost got red swirled. If he would have gotten red swirled, he would not have instant win. You cannot instant win a red swirl. So it looks like Salty has Frankenstein down. Now, you know, this is kind of weird because Frank is an enemy, but then you beat up his robot and him, and then he wants to rest with you, and he can heal you up. So we're about to see. Ooh, oh, I didn't notice. SaltyPhry got the bag of fries drop. How fitting with his name being SaltyPhry. SaltyPhry choosing not to take the Frank heal. That's a little risky, although he did have the bag of fries, but typically people are more concerned about the psychic points. I see a comment in the chat, the phrasing. Yes, I mean, he says, do you want to rest? Do you want to rest? And as we saw, SaltyPhry did not want to rest. Ain't nobody got time for that. So you notice Keku choosing psychic points there over his healing items. Typically, people will try to use the psychic points to preserve the burgers so that you don't have to buy as many before you go into Giant Step. So SaltyPhry has gotten the key to the shack, and now he is going to go buy burgers. Needs to use the ATM first, though. Frank should be about dead here if Ness would quit missing. You notice Keku there waited a little bit. Due to the way the rolling HP in this game works, it can be advantageous to allow it to tick up a little bit there. Now you see Salty buying burgers. Generally, runners will just fill their inventory. And at this point, it looks like that's probably what he's going to do, or at least with however much money he pulled out. There we go. So it looked like Keku was a little unsure of what he either had a menuing flub or was unsure of what he wanted to do. If he wanted, I think he was trying to decide whether to use a burger or the life up there. Now, throwing a punch is the weak attack. He can also tear into you, which is the strong attack, which can do upwards of probably about almost up to 40 HP of damage. But there we go, Keku getting Frankenstein down. And now we're going to have to see if he's going to take the Frank heal or not. Generally, most runners will take it, but if he has some psychic points left over, I believe he had 0. He might have gotten some. I didn't see if he got any from the life up, but I would guess he's going to take the heal there. So now SaltyPhry is beginning the slug grind. You need to grind and kill 22 slugs to achieve level 8, which is when you get Psy Rockin', which is the first offensive Psy ability. And there we go, Keku taking the heal. So in Giant Step, all enemies are stutterable, meaning you can tap on the D-pad, very light, quick taps, taking like the smallest steps that you can, and the enemies have a little bit of a delay before they start moving, so you can basically exploit that, and you can move more than they move in that period of time, and you can advance. So there we go. SaltyPhry getting a pack of 4. Let's see what his stats are. Oh yeah, he had 20 psychic points left over, so no wonder he skipped the Frank heal. Now, I see that he's not using auto fight here. Generally, people will auto fight these, but you have to be careful because once you get down below 1/4 HP, auto fight will actually automatically life up. But he's not using auto fight anyway. It's a little bit slower to menu for the bash each time, but that actually at this point is what you would have to do, because if you were to auto fight now, he would life up. And you have to be careful with those slugs. They might seem weak, and it seems like they always fail their attempt to hypnotize. But that's because they're unable to concentrate. They have an initial status, and after the 4th round, or on the 4th round, they're able to concentrate, and they actually can hypnotize you and put you to sleep. Once you're asleep, it's a 25% chance to wake up of your own volition, or a 50% chance if you take damage. So we see Keku, generally people will take $100 out of the ATM there. It looked like Keku took out everything because I don't think he has a single healing item left. He might have one. I think he might have eaten every single item. So if so, he's going to have to buy 8 burgers here. So Salty's not getting too much luck. He's only gotten 4 slugs so far. He's going to choose to just go ahead and reset the room. Someone needs to call the exterminator. All these mice. Now you might think, hey, go kill that slug in that room. That's actually an ant. But on the bottom floor of Giant Step, it's all slugs. So if you see the dot sprite, it's guaranteed to be slugs. Now some people will actually start moving up after a certain period. So it'll be interesting to see what grinding strat he goes for. Keku going for the tech skip on the door, and he got it. If you approach the door on the right, you will not get the tech saying the door is locked. Saves a second or two. So again, the runners will be counting. Currently, SaltyPhry is at 8 slugs. If Keku has a good slug grind here, he can make up a lot of time. There he is, getting a 4-pack already. Salty not having very good RNG with these spawns here. There you go. Spoke too soon. So this is going to put Salty at 12, and Keku's going to be at 4. Again, the magic number is 22. Once you have 22 slugs, you will hit level 8. And then it's time to go destroy Titanic Ant, rather, the Sanctuary Guardian of Giant Step. Gigantic ant is actually an enemy that is a random spawn later. Wow, that's a lot of slugs for Keku. It looks like he has another 4-pack just waiting for him. So this is going to be 8 for Keku. Keku's making good time. He's making up time here with this with the slug RNG he's getting. Okay, SaltyPhry is actually choosing to auto fight here, which, as I said, is a little bit faster, but he has to watch his HP. If his HP gets down below 30, I'm actually not positive on the exact number, but once you get into the 20s, it's possible for auto fight to actually choose life up, which would be a time loss, because if you life up in battle, then you're getting a full round of slug attacks when you could just kill him and then life up outside of battle without having to sit through the full the full sequence of attacks. So it looks like SaltyPhry, ooh, is he pincer? He should be able to stutter away from this. You got to be careful going up those ropes, because if you just think, oh, hey, I don't need to stutter this, and if they block you from below and then something aggroes from the top, you can actually get pincered on the ropes. So those two, ooh, Salty might be taking a fight here. Oh, I think he can get out of this, but oh no, actually going to the right is just increasing the number of spawns. He might end up getting a fight here. Due to the way the lag works in this game, it's much more difficult to stutter with more sprites on screen. Luckily, he was able to get away from that. That was some pretty good stuttering. So this should be a 4-pack for SaltyPhry. Oh no, it's a 6-pack. This is very good. So this might put SaltyPhry at 20. He had what? Did he have 16? I can't remember if he was at 12 or 16 when he went up. If he was at 16, this will actually do it. This will put him at level 8. The only risky thing about the 6-packs is, since I mentioned that they're actually able to concentrate, look, see right there, they're able to concentrate, they could actually hypnotize them. The risk of that happening, oh, there it is, but luckily he woke right back up. He got the 25% chance and killed a slug. That can be scary, because sometimes if they just sit there and derp around and don't hit you, that 25% chance feels like it's far lower. So SaltyPhry is actually done with his grinding here. He lifed up, going to take the butterfly, which gives you 20 psychic points. And now, did he check? I don't think he checked his offense. If you have 24 offense, you can actually instant win these. Okay, he took it. He must have checked it then. I must not have seen it. If you have 24 offense or more, you can instant win the single Antoids. So typically runners, after hitting level 8, will check their offense. If you have 23, you're going to have to stick with either despawn strats or stuttering. Now in this room, you got to watch out. Sometimes, see the rock down there, the ant sprite can actually hide in that part. Salty is now an ant. This is a pretty scary fight. Anything can happen here. So you're probably going to see him open with the rock-in, because there's 2 Antoids that actually are in the fight along with Titanic Ant, and they can life them up. So the point of the first rock-in is to take those guys out. Generally, the strat is if you're below 60 HP, you'll want to heal, because Ant can do a lot of damage very fast. Also, you want to get your rock-ins off, because as you can see, Ant just did a magnet. Ooh, and he actually magneted him down below 10, so he can't get a second rock-in off. Oh, but with the lucky smash. Having a pretty good Ant fight here. Looks like Keku's dealing with some mice. Ooh, it's a tight stutter. Ooh, I thought he might get that fight there. Is he just going to take it? Okay, he's just going to take it. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. You still get experience from it. But these mice have high guts, so you're probably going to see them smash a lot. Okay, SaltyPhry has Ant down. Clean fight. Getting the melody spot here actually gives full HP and psychic points, which sets you up for going into the cops fight. The only thing you might see the runners do is if they're feeling low on burgers, that is their healing items. You may see them, depending on how many they've used, they may go buy a few more before the fight. Here we go. Keku getting some slugs. I'm actually not sure on the count that he has, but he should be getting pretty close. I want to say this one won't do it, but He should be getting close. If it's not this one, then the next pack should do it. So on the way out of Giant Step, since you've defeated the Sanctuary Guardian, it actually sets the enemies to have a 100% chance to run away from you. So you're probably going to see Salty. Yeah, most people just leave this burger because it's free to pick it up on the way out. You can actually get it on the way up, but you would have to stutter step past enemies to get it. Okay, so this one might do it for Keku. Just based off gut feeling. As you see there, one of the slugs did hypnosis, but as I said before, since they have that initial unable to concentrate status, it'll never work until they're able to concentrate. Yep, there we go. Level 8 for Keku. So now, since he actually did all of his grinding on the bottom floor, he can just fly up past everything, stutter past everything, although sometimes that can be easier said than done. You can see right there that ant is pretty close. He doesn't even want to try it, because what can happen is when you stutter past, as I said before, due to the additional enemies, you can spawn in, or excuse me, you can stutter into more spawns, and you can find yourself in a position where there's no way out, because you've basically stuttered into a giant group of enemies, and due to the lag, you can't even get away. Even top-level runners will end up taking fights in this area if you're not careful. So SaltyPhry feeling good about his burger count. He's going straight into the cops fight. Now, this is a gauntlet. You have 4 cops and then strong, and they're all technically bosses. They all have boss swirls. It's actually quite a difficult fight. Now, you'll see there's 5 cops. Fun fact, if you actually out of bounds into this room, the fight is already set up. You can talk to the 5th cop, and he actually has dialogue. It says something like, go, go, and you can fight him. So that leads me to believe that originally you were supposed to fight 5 cops, and that maybe they toned it down, because even 4 cops plus strong is pretty bad. Salty not getting very good luck with his cop doing the crushing chops. It's really what you don't want to see are the crushing chops, which are the strong attacks. The strat on the cops is if you're below anywhere from 55 to 60 HP, you need to heal. If you get down around 30, you probably want to do a life up. But you also have to take into consideration the fact that you want 20 psychic points going in strong, if possible, so that you can do the 2 rock-ins. Actually didn't see if Keku checked his stats there. He's despawning, but there were 2 enemies. So I'm thinking that he didn't have 24 offense because he's choosing not to take these fights. He could stutter that, but you know, if you get the fight, the ants can call for help. You really don't want to fight an ant due to the possible calls for help. So it looks like he's going to commit to the despawn strats here. Ooh, Salty pretty low on healing items there. That looked like that might have been his last burger. If he has any more, he might only have 1. Okay, so he has 1 more. So Salty's out of burgers. This could actually be bad. Although he still does have the psychic points for the life ups. Life up is 5 psychic points, and he can do 2 of those essentially for free, leaving him the 2 rock-ins for strong. But he's still got 1 more cop to go through, and you want to make sure that you have as much HP as possible coming out of this fight, because strong can just open up and go berserk. Crushing Chop City. He's going to have to use some of his psychic points. Yeah, he was reluctant to do so. Oh, and Salty died to the 4th cop. Those crushing chops are just relentless. And the bad thing about dying to the cops is you actually have to fight all of those cops again. It's actually really one of the worst places to die in Onet. Like I said, when Keku died earlier, I said, you know, this is Earthbound. Anything can happen. So let's see what kind of ant fight he has here. Keku has a good chance to capitalize here. Okay, taking advantage of his life up before Ant does another magnet, because if you don't get those psi attacks or life ups off, you will lose your chance to do so. Oh, he's kind of low here at 26, although you can mash that out. Due to the way the rolling HP works, if you mash, which means just push the buttons really fast to advance the text as fast as possible, you can speed up to the point where you can survive about a 23 or a 24 level of HP when you get hit. Now, Ant has put up a shield, which means he's taking very little damage. I believe he takes half damage. And Salty's also going to have to reshop. He's going to have to buy more burgers. Keku's attacking with 42 HP, which is kind of risky. He could get into an RNG chain here. See, he has 20 now. He can't match this out if he hits him. Oh, the gut save. So he would have died there with 20. Not to say that 20 is impossible. People can mash out 20, but even when I mash out 20, I usually die. So he really lucked out with that gut save because he was dead. There, 23 is safe. That was another gut save. Another gut save. Keku is the gut save master right now. He is really, really... Ant's just throwing him a bone. And there we go. Ant down for Keku. So Keku really has a chance to capitalize here. Yes, I see some questions in chat. 20 mash is possible. I personally have done it twice, but every other time I've died. I believe Ultimo Ice, the glitchless world record holder, has mashed out 18, and I've heard legends of somebody mashing out 16, you know, but I've never even heard like who it was. Now 23, 24 is the safe range. 22 is pretty safe, although I've actually died with 22. I don't think I've ever tried 21, and anything less than 20. I mean, I'll try, but you know, going into it, you're gonna die. So it looks like Salty is already back at the cops fight before Keku gets out. I didn't see how many burgers he bought, but I imagine he had to have shopped. Because you can't, there's no way you can get through this fight without burgers. I mean, you have the psychic points for the life up because you talked to Mom. But yeah, Keku really lucked out with the back-to-back gut saves. So now the one silver lining that Salty has here in this fight is that he got to keep all the experience and levels. So he's fighting this cop with 3 cops under his belt, meaning he got some extra levels and whatnot. So he should have a little bit more HP, a little more defense maybe. And yeah, it looked like he bought a few burgers there. It looked like he had a can of fruit juice. He might have bought that on accident. It's very easy to overmash and buy a can of fruit juice. Yeah, that must be what it is. It looked like he probably bought about 6. There's a question in the chat. How do gut saves work? You have a chance to save based on your gut stat. Guts is actually the same stat that controls smashes. And I'm not sure of the exact odds or the formula, but basically the higher your gut stat, the higher chance you have to survive mortal damage. When you take damage over your HP, rather than going to 0, you'll go to 1 and you will not hear the mortal death sound. Now, Salty getting a smash there. And it's actually, you don't always have enough offense to one-shot the cops. Smash damage is not random. The formula is 4 times offense minus enemy defense. And SaltyPhry did 78 damage. The cops have 75 HP. So if he would have had 1 fewer point of offense due to the 4x multiplier, he would have only done 74 HP and he would have not killed the cop. I actually had that happen to me the other day. Smashed a cop, didn't kill him. And I didn't even know that was possible because obviously in the manip, we always have enough offense. So Salty's going into strong. And Keku is at the first cop. This just shows how much of a lead Salty had that he died, and he was able to actually get back through these cops. So 47, he's probably going to want to heal here. Yeah. Strong is very scary. Coming out swinging is what you want to see. What you don't want to see, I mean, really you want to see him guard or lose his temper, but he can do a submission hold, which can do a lot of damage. So Keku playing it safe there with 55. Some people will actually continue attacking with 55, but it's a little risky. Salty having a very good strong fight, and strong down for SaltyPhry. He got quite lucky there with the losing temper and the guarding. Again, you see Keku taking advantage of the rolling HP in the game, letting his HP tick up before attacking. Oh, I see in the chat someone mentioned Rockin' Miss. I actually missed that. No pun intended. Rockin' is the only psychic attack that can miss, and it's based on speed, just like normal attacks. So everything else, like Freeze, Fire, Starstorm, those are 100% chance to hit, along with the random damage roll. But Rockin' is sadly the only one that can miss, and it seems to miss when you most desperately need it the most. Yes, strong can smash. The chance to smash is 1/20 or guts over 500, whichever is greater. And I'm not sure off the top of my head how much guts strong has. But yes, he can definitely do it. I've had him smash me with the submission hold. And you just saw right there, Keku just got smashed by a cop. Keku once again playing it smart, letting his HP roll up. Now, Salty right there having to despawn through the door. Sometimes you can just get stuck having to despawn. And you cannot stutter the mushrooms. You can stutter the ants, but not the mushrooms. And you really don't want to get in the mushroom fight because they can mushroomize you or mashroomize, as it says on the status page. It can mess with how you walk, confuse you. You have a chance to hit yourself or the party. Heck, you can even do a life up and, due to confusion, life up the enemy. So that looked like that might have been Keku's last burger. So we're going to have to see how this goes here. Terrible, terrible rockin' hit. Keku, you saw Keku pause there. Oh, you better hope this kills. Please kill. Oh, sadly, the rockin' rolls are not high enough. You saw Keku for a moment. He paused momentarily before he went for the rockin', and I bet that he was trying to think about whether to go for it or not. And his thought process was probably, okay, this rockin', 2 rockins will generally kill strong, but due to how low the first one hit, he would have just had to have like a boss daddy second rock in order for that to kill. Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. But again, as I said, it's Earthbound. Anything can happen. It ain't over till it's over. It ain't over till Boogie Tent is in tattered pieces on the ground. Yeah, it's somewhere around there. I see a question in the chat regarding Strong's HP. I'm actually not sure of the exact number, but he has roughly double the cops, and they have 75. So we saw SaltyPhry go to Apple Kid, and now he has to go do a walk, seemingly for nothing, and then walk back, because although in a casual playthrough, you would probably see the player go up to the pencil, the metal pencil coming up, and maybe even check it. There's really only a specific point you have to walk to, which loads the pencil, and then you can just turn right around and leave. Got to be careful with it, though, because if you miss it, you will not get the Apple Kid phone call, and you'll have to walk all the way back. I would be really surprised if either of them go for the PRV Death Warp. There was a comment about that in the chat. That's more of a risky strat because you have to walk back through PRV, and that's really the worst part about it. So Keku's restocking up on burgers here. Opened up his menu. It looked like he might have been having second thoughts about whether he wanted to buy more. It looked like he got about 5, which should be plenty. Okay, so there you go. SaltyPhry went up, and that will trigger the Apple Kid phone call, and then the phone call triggers Apple Kid being in Berglund Park. At this point for Salty, he doesn't want to get a fight because he needs to life up and fill up his psychic points from a butterfly. I'm actually not sure how much HP he has, but generally coming out of a strong fight, you have generally used all or at least enough of your psychic points that you don't have enough for a life up, and you're generally pretty low on HP. So if you get a fight, you're at risk of dying. So Keku's back at the cops fight. He's out for blood, gonna get revenge. So there we go, SaltyPhry getting the call. Surprised he didn't take that butterfly there, unless I missed him getting some. Generally, you want to fill up your psychic points. I guess he could have made the decision that since it was flying away from him and he would have had to backtrack, that he could get a more optimal butterfly. But he may have just already gotten one that I missed. Alright, looks like second cop down. Now, Keku going in the third cop only has 47 HP. You'll probably see him heal here. I'll be really surprised if he doesn't heal. Oh, he's bashing. Crush and chop. Oh, the outspeed too, because he was down to 22. If he would have gotten hit, he probably would have died. Like I said, you can mash out 22, but it is not easy. I see a comment about the weekly glitchless races that we do. Someone pointing out that this is not an easy game, and they are absolutely correct. This is a very difficult game. It is not unusual at all for even the top runners to die due to bad RNG in ONET. The The worst thing about these tunnels that SaltyPhry is going through is that you cannot stutter the sprouts, and there's not enough room to walk by them ever. You are required to despawn them. Well, I mean, I guess you're not. I guess you can just fight them, but, you know, who wants to do that? I don't. All right, so Keku is on Strong Daddy. Okay, 35 for submission hole. That's pretty low. Decent rocking hit. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but that was good. There's a chance he might kill him here, and hopefully, because he has 18, but he's not dead. Okay, Keku's hoping Strong does not hit. Lost his temper. That is what he needed. Keku's right back in this. And there you go. Strong down for Keku. This is far from over. Anything can happen in Happy Happy. Anything can happen in PRV. SaltyPhry choosing to go the northern route here. It's actually a little bit slower, but sometimes you just make the decision that if you're going to have to despawn, you might as well just walk around. Ooh, playing it risky with the diamond here. He needs to make sure he doesn't get himself pincered, and that's exactly what happened. So, oh, he's so lucky that the tree did not join. So this sprout here, he should be able to vanquish this opponent quite easily. At this point, he may choose to go for a rockin'. There he goes. And there it is. So he probably is going to use his iframes. He's either going to shoot to the right or down right and try to get out of here with iframes. No, he might still be pincered. I think he's still pincered. He had to use his iframes to get out of there. Luckily, that robo, which is the diamond, moved randomly into the tree. Got quite lucky there. Ooh, I didn't even see that guy come up from the bottom. Is he? I think he's pincered again. He's pincered, yeah. He needs to just take the robo fight, because if he goes up, they're going to get him, and he's going to have multiple enemies. He might be able to get around this, but he just needs to take it, and you can just run from these guys. Oh, he's choosing to bash it. These guys actually don't have very high speed. You can just run. It might take a few tries, but your chance to run goes up 10% every run. Ooh, Keku's he might get a fight here. He needs to go in the door. He was trying to stutter it, but there were more enemies below him, and due to the extra lag, he realized quickly he wasn't going to be able to stutter by him. Okay, so the bright side of Salty taking that fight is that, oh, never mind. I was going to say he might get a level from it, but he didn't get enough experience, so there really is no bright side. I mean, you get a little more money in the ATM. You could maybe make an argument for that, but what you would really want would be levels for Happy Happy. So you see the save that Keku is doing? That's actually not a safety save. That is a save to set up a death warp. Once the runners get past Happy Happy, they will death warp back, because it's faster just to death warp back to Tucson and go revive Paula, because Ness is already alive. It's faster to just go to the hospital though and revive Paula than it is to walk all the way back. So it looks like SaltyPhry is almost done with PRV here, and he's in. So these snakes here are actually 100% spawn, but they will generally run away from you, although there is a chance for them to aggro you, but they're kamikaze snakes because they will actually just die. They'll just you'll get an instant win against them. So I see a question in the chat about the run chance. I don't know the exact formula off the top of my head. It's something like 2 times the highest speed of your party minus the speed of the enemy, plus like the turn number over 100 or something like that. I forget the exact formula, but basically that's not quite right. But basically, in a general sense, your chance to run goes up 10% per turn. But that also means that if the enemy speed is significantly high enough, you can have a negative chance to run. If you search for starman.net equations page, it actually has all of the equations for just about everything in the game. And it has the formula on that page. So this tunnel that SaltyPhry is in is actually pretty scary because you can get cultist random spawns. And he's coming up to a scripted fight, which we call the shack fight. And since they're the same random enemy as the random enemies that spawn in the tunnel, You actually cannot run from them if you get that, and you actually just have to kill them. But yeah, SaltyPhry definitely has a lead here, but Happy Happy is notorious, and it would not be out of the realm of possibility that something wrong could go here. It happens constantly, but we'll have to see what happens. So what he's going to do here is he's going to basically just double Rockin' and pray. These guys can call for help. Rockin' can miss. The Crow is like Neo Crow because he has 70-something speed. A lot of times it fails on him. So 58 is low. 85 was good. What you're really hoping for is the Rockin' kills one of them. These guys have 94 HP. And there we go, call for help. So this Rockin' will generally not kill the first one unless it hits for 94. So he's going to have to bash this out. Yep, bash it out. Ooh, it's getting low. There we go. So he's going to have to life up, obviously. Well, at this low, he may want to life up, but then he won't have a Rockin'. Because if you eat a burger, burgers are 50 generally. There's a random range on it. Burgers generally heal around 50. Croissants generally heal around 60. So you saw that he got a 57 roll from the croissant, which was a below average roll. Sometimes if you're really low there, you just need to just grit your teeth and bear it and do a life up so that you're prepared for the next fight. You really want that Rockin' though. If the first cultist calls for help, and you really, I mean, the Rockin' on Card Painter really isn't that much. I mean, let's be real. You're hoping for those lightning reflects. If you don't get those lightning reflects, it may be a long fight. So here it comes, the cultist fight that we all hate. I start sweating a little every time I get to this fight. What you're hoping for is a 3 bash turn. Just bash, 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 and there it is. This is why we all have nightmares of this fight. You have to be very careful here. It's very easy to get a little too aggressive with this fight and end up dying. Oh, terrible luck. The cultists are bringing their friends, which you really don't want to see. This can get just comical. You can actually have calls for help all the way up to H, and then rather than going to I, it actually will wrap around back to A. And it's just ludicrous that we have even seen that to even know that it is possible. But sometimes those fights, oh man, you can't even be mad when you reset because of how stupid they are. You just shake your head and you're like, why though? Oh, Keku getting sniped by UFO here. Luckily, he's already gotten his butterflies and lifed up, so he should be able to get out of this fight. What he's going to want to do here is Rockin', and if it's still alive, probably just bash. A lot of times the Rockin' will just kill it, though. Oh, that's a terrible Rockin' hit. He may want to do another one, and he'll have to get more butterflies. There we go. I'm not sure if he has Healing Alpha yet. He may due to extra fights. He probably does, yeah. So it's actually possible to get here without Healing Alpha, although that may only be possible doing Manip, and you actually have to go all the way to Happy Happy by the Cold Remedy. SaltyPhry having a very good Card Painter fight. He's already done. I didn't see how much HP he has, though, set up for the Death Warp. Generally, you want low HP and go to a mole. If you have anywhere from like 60 to 70 or more, some runners will choose to go to PRV and actually try to Death Warp off of the UFO and or Robo. Oh, it's looking like Keku is pincered here. He's got to be careful with this Robo. The Sprout is the far easier fight. If he's stuck, he should just fight the Sprout. Yeah, actually, he may be able to get past it. If he runs to the right and goes down, he's trying to despawn it, but I don't think he can despawn it. But if you run, yeah. If he made a run for it, he was going to risk it in Red Swirl, which you really don't want to do. He has no Rockin' here, but he should be able to kill this guy. Oh, the life up. What troll. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and Keku is pincered again. He may be able to get by this. Okay, yeah, he should be able to have this. Wow, this is a mean PRB. Okay, so SaltyPhry is 76 HP. That's actually a lot for the Death Warp setup. Ooh. Keku may just want to go top route here. Wow, just spawns at every turn. Looks like he's going to make a run for it. Oh, nice juke there. Okay, so Salty's doing some menuing here. Getting rid of the bear and the Holmes hat to set up for the Death Warp because he wants to take more damage, and the teddy bear actually has a 75% chance to take the hit from an enemy. So we're going to see what he's going to do. If he goes right, he's going to the mole, the trolley moly. And if he goes left, he's going back to PRV. The PRV Death Warp strat is a little less common. Ooh, Keku needs to be careful here because you can pincer yourself. Although, yeah, just like this, he may be pincered, although the trees are slow, so he can just walk around them if he needs to. So Salty's choosing to go for the mole, and that's the worst thing you want to see. He confuses himself, and this fight can just go on for an absurd amount of time sometimes. So what SaltyPhry is doing with Ness is he's using the ATM card because it's a useless action. And you may be wondering, well, why doesn't he just defend? And that's because defending makes him take half damage. So using the ATM card is a way that he can not hit the mole, because Ness will kill it, generally in 2 hits. If not 2, then 3 for sure. So using the ATM card, make sure the mole stays alive. He can just bash with Paula, because she only does 1 HP. In fact, if Ness dies, you can actually just go to auto fight with Paula. But you have to be careful. You have to wait for Ness to take all the way down. If you menu over to life up, or excuse me, if you menu over to auto fight, as I said before, it'll life up automatically. And that is not a fun thing to do. So SaltyPhry with a pretty good Death Warp. And he's going to actually be back in Tucson, like we said. He made that save. Oh, he accidentally talked to the NPC there instead of the ATM. So he's pulling out extra money. He needs to go revive Paula. Luckily, the hospital is not that far from the department store. A lot of crows. Sometimes those crows just get in your way, and there's no avoiding them. Yes, there was a good point made in the chat. With Paula bashing, if the mole is confused, it will actually remove that status ailment. He will no longer be feeling strange. But sometimes Paula will smash, and smashing actually skips removing status ailments. So sometimes you'll see Paula smash for 1, and that's actually one of the worst instances of a smash that you can ever get because it will not remove the confusion. But generally, yes, bashing with Paula makes the mole kind of, you just slap a little sense into him. Maybe he'll be able to hit straight. So Keku at the shack fight. First rock-in. Did not work on the second cultist. That is not good. That is not what you want to see. As I said before, rockin'. Ooh. This is bad. This could be bad. Okay. He's gonna pray. He's gonna eat a healing item and pray. And this is actually there's 2 things to say about this death here. One is, okay, there's good news and bad news. The good news is you don't have to do the fight again. You can go straight to Car Painter. The bad news is you have to walk all the way back from Tucson, and that means going back through PRV. It's actually probably in the whole entire Boogie run, it's probably one of the worst deaths you can get is a death inside Happy Happy. Now you saw SaltyPhry talking to Everdread. He is actually a boss. He's one of the few skippable bosses in the run. When you come in to talk to Apple Kid to get the pencil eraser, you just don't go near Everdread. If you go near him, he'll jump off the house and you have to fight him. SaltyPhry going for the photo skip and he got it. You notice he took that weird walk to the right and left in. There's a photo trigger out front. It actually becomes active after you get the backstage pass from the Luigi guy from the Runaway 5. And SaltyPhry is almost at the first input break of the game. The developers of this game were so nice. They planned it around speedrunning, and they decided to put all these input breaks in for us. It's hard running these long games, so shout outs to the developers, right? Yes, there's a question in chat about the skippable bosses. The Krakens in Sea of Eden have boss swirls and are therefore bosses, and you can skip all 3 of them. As far as I know, those are the only skippable bosses. So Salty is enjoying the tunes of the Runaway 5. Looks like so far Keku's having a better time through PRV on the second go around. Gotta be really careful those diamonds. Those guys move fast, and he's not playing around. He's choosing just to despawn them. He could have maybe made a run for it on that one. He's gotta be careful here. Going down and despawning like that to the left, sometimes you can kind of get stuck in there. So since he died, he has to restore his psychic points, and that's why he's getting the butterflies here. 20 points from that butterfly. He's probably going to want another one. I didn't notice if he got one already, but if not, he's going to want probably another one before he goes in. Oh, he's got to be careful too. That sprout there. Sometimes you can actually get fights through walls. Oh, this is a risky skip. This is a very risky skip. Yep, he's turning around right now. Many a runner pincered themselves going up around the right of that lake. I see a question in chat about, I believe the question is how long have these runners been running the game? Kekumanshoyu has sub 5. SaltyPhry actually almost has sub 4. I believe his glitchless PB is around a 405. And I believe Keku's PB is around a 447 or so. So SaltyPhry going to go for the photo skip again. Got it. Choosing not to go between the pole. You can actually go between the pole and the Mario-looking guy. But, you know, it's basically for swag. It saves some frames, but if you mess it up, you're actually losing time. Keku... okay, so he can just actually run past his tree, which is exactly what he's going to do. Peace out, trees. No kamikaze snakes for Keku, which is good. You can actually stutter those snakes, but generally by time you notice that you can stutter it, it's already on you. You just might as well take it. Ooh. A lot of random spawns here. And like I said, you really do not want to get one of these because you can, due to the shack fight that he died to, you cannot run from those cultists. And they can still call for help just like before. Luckily, as I mentioned, he can just come straight in here. He does not have to do the shack fight again. There's actually an alternate strat where people will save in the Happy Happy drugstore and die the shack fight on purpose just because they hate that fight so much. But then the downside is you have to walk back through PRV. If you get a perfect walk back, though, it can save time. All right. Here's where you pray. You pray this guy has no friends. Generally, 3 hits will take him out on a clean fight. Okay, good. The failed call for help. Clean fight. So for SaltyPhry, you see these the rascal Runaway 5 dropping some kids off in a scary town. I don't really think that is a good idea, but you know, they also owed someone $10,000, so they're not exactly the most responsible people. So SaltyPhry going through the graveyard. Sometimes you just walk through this place. Other times, you know, it's a nightmare. I think there's a fly there. Yeah, fly up above. Gotta be careful here. It's very easy to get overwhelmed by enemies. Yo, Keku going for the rock in turn 1. Carpenter's actually scripted. He always does lightning, life up, bash, which is the paint attack, shield, lightning, or excuse me, lightning, life up, bash, lightning, shield, bash, and then repeat. He always does all the same actions in order. And you can use that to take advantage of his script. So generally, what you'll see is Keku healing on the bash turns, and there you go. Pretty good fight. But yes, most people will bash on the first turn because they know that Carpenter is going to life up on the second turn, and he basically heals whatever damage you did. But it's still a good idea to do the bash in case he gets a double reflect, but it doesn't do enough damage to kill him. Sometimes the bash will put him over the top. . 'Cause 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 ' So SaltyPhry just about to start winner. It's got a short little cutscene here. SaltyPhry calling out to Jeff. Jeff is kind of a controversial character. Do we got any Jeff lovers? Any Jeff haters here? What do we got? Team Jeff? Team not Jeff? But yeah, Jeff is quite the character. Love him or hate him. You know, he's important to the speedrun. We couldn't do it without him. So, you know what they say, live by the bottle rocket, die by the bottle rocket. And it looks like we've got a nice split among the chat. Like I said, you either love him or hate him. You know, Team Jeff will say, hey, he makes the speedrun possible. Whereas Team No Jeff will say, yeah, but he also is what causes a lot of rip runs. So Jeff is love. Jeff is life. You know, my opinion on Jeff, sometimes he does something right, you know? Every dog has his day. So Keku with 68 HP again, that's kind of a lot for a Death Warp setup. But yeah, he'll probably just go to the mole. Yeah, that's what most people do. Going to the mole is by far the most popular strategy. Meanwhile, SaltyPhry is dealing with this troll. Gives him a key that he knows doesn't work. So you can use it on any locker, but that very first locker is the quickest one. You are required to get at least one item out of the lockers, either the pop gun or the Holmes hat. You don't have to equip it, but you do have to get one to get out. But you want those items anyway for Brick Road and Pond Cave. Yo, Keku getting a first turn kill on Paula. Let's see if the mole can keep it up. Oh, the mole is slapping himself silly. The one good thing about that is that he actually goes back to normal after that. He's no longer confused when he hits himself. Oh, good hit, good hit. One more will do it. There we go. Pretty good. Not bad. Not bad. You know, not perfect, but that was pretty good. I've seen far worse Death Warps than that. And now SaltyPhry gets to get everybody's favorite character in the whole entire game. Who is it? That's right, it's Bubble Monkey. I know you're all excited to see him, right? Everybody loves Bubble Monkey. He's never ruined a run, ever. Ever. But in all seriousness, we all hate Bubble Monkey. If you watch his walking pattern, you'll notice once he goes outside here that he sort of follows, but then he's like, oh, squirrel, squirrel. Oh, right there, squirrel, squirrel. And due to that, you'll often end up getting fights because of them. Now, this is 100% spawn. Going that far right is going to respawn something else. Whoa, cliff skipping. So he's going to probably try to despawn from... Oh, he's just going to run past him. Oh, he was stuck in the cliff. SaltyPhry may have noticed that. I actually didn't notice that, but it looked like he was literally stuck in the cliff. I don't think I've ever seen it before. So I didn't notice if SaltyPhry dropped the broken spray can. Some people will drop it in Boogie percent because you don't need the money unless you die to Boogie to buy more rockets. Okay, yeah, he did not. So he got the extra text saying that he fixed the broken spray can. And it became the defense spray. You can save a couple seconds by dropping it. All right, Salty's gonna do a photo skip. Let's see if he goes for the quicker strat. Yes. Okay, he has to wait. If he goes down with the NPC blocking him, he's going to get the photo. So once you go through there, you've already committed. Ooh, Keku just barely getting away from that hippie. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world if you get the hippie, because at this point you have Paula and you have Freeze. Praise Tessie, everybody's big favorite derpy purple dinosaur, and I'm not talking about Barney. Can we get some MS Paint Beast in the chat, please? All hail Tessie. All right, Keku gonna do the photo skip. Here we go. And he got it. I feel like it's easier to get it on the way in. Basically, on the way out. Ooh, Keku getting an extra talk there. not a big deal though. But on the way out, if you just space out and buffer down, coming outside, you'll just walk straight into it. Everybody's done it at least once. Everybody's done it at least once. You know, I really don't know what this game is teaching people. The girl is saying to pose as someone else and come back here and sneak into a back room. What kind of morals is this game teaching to our kids? Hashtag ban Earthbound. No, I'm joking. Okay, so SaltyPhry is going to do a 100% spawn skip here. There's actually a gruff goat that can spawn. And so he goes down like that, and it exploits an off by 1 error in the game's code. When the game checks which tiles are there and which spawn tiles can possibly be there, there's an off by 1 error. And so if you walk just properly to where spawn tiles come in at a certain point, at the very edge of certain corners of the screen, it actually will not spawn. And SaltyPhry is getting the worst possible start to this fight here. The call for help. Generally when this happens, you're going to be dead. You don't want to eat the boiled egg, because if you die anyway, you spawn right outside where you get off Tessie, but you will not have your boiled egg, and you can get stuck in a death loop. So he took one out. These things are not being aggressive. He's getting quite lucky here. Yeah, this is insane. Most people would have already probably been dead. Wow, he killed both of them and didn't even take any damage. Really, the only alternate strat there is when they call for help, you can kill the first one and start defending. Remember I said earlier the chance to run goes up 10% per turn, and defending halves damage? By defending, you can drag the fight out just long enough to give yourself a chance to run. SaltyPhry has a potential duck skip set up here. It looks like he's going to get it. It's really RNG. You have to know, it really depends on where the duck spawns and how he randomly moves. Okay, this proto is also skippable. What you want is to set up like that, where Bubble Monkey moves. Very nice skip, both skips. That is very good. Excellent brick road. That was actually an optimal brick road. It is technically possible to skip the first proto, but it's so insanely hard that most people don't even go for it. I've actually gotten it once in a run, and that was it. I actually quit going for it because I never get it. But beyond, not counting the first proto skip, that was an absolutely optimal brick road. He didn't take any damage. Well, I guess he had to call for help. Really, the optimal would have been the 3-turn first proto, but with both skips, most people would take that any day. So you can actually do some stuttering in here. SaltyPhry is in Pawn Cave. Generally, this room right here, this big room, is the only room that most people will stutter because it's the safest. Generally, and he got a red squirrel. If he dies here, he actually has to walk back through Brick Road, but none of the enemies will be there. Once you make it out of Brick Road, even if you skip an enemy, it will not be there. So dying here would probably, well, in fact, it would not change probably the pace that we have here. It would still be a very good pace. See a question in chat about who's in lead. SaltyPhry is in the lead. Once he gets out of Pawn Cave here, really the only thing left other than a cutscene is the final fight, Boogie Tent. So mushrooms are not stutterable. You have to despawn them. Like I said, you can technically stutter the mice and the slugs, but generally, unless you're a top tier runner, you're probably not going to go for anything like that because it's very risky. Yes, SaltyPhry is in the lead, but as I said before, it is not over until Boogie Tent is on the ground in pieces, because Boogie Tent sometimes says, you know what, you've got a good pace here, let me see what I can do about that, and he just goes nuts on you. Right, this, as I said before, this is not over by any stretch. But yes, it does come down to Boogie for sure with SaltyPhry. Yeah, really, if you die more than twice to Boogie, then once you die twice to Boogie, you really almost have to forfeit, because at that point you would have to grind enemies for money, which just about nobody will do. Okay, getting a good skip there. Those guys run to the wall. Technically, he could get a cave boy fight here or something, but they're slow. You can they're like the big trees in PRV. You can just walk around them. All right, Keku getting imprisoned here. About to trigger winners. So SaltyPhry talking to Dr. Andonuts, who is actually Jeff's dad. And even though his lab is not far from Snowwood, the boarding school, apparently he hasn't seen him in 10 years. You have to press a button here once Andonuts walks over, and then the Skyrunner will begin to shake. Once it begins to shake, you can actually stop mashing. It'll take off guaranteed. And this is about a 3-minute cutscene. I think the cool thing about this cutscene is you get to see some of the areas that are coming up. I remember the first time playing this, going through, I'm like, oh, wow, what is this town? I want to go there. You know, it sort of gives you a preview of what's to come, which is pretty cool. Got that foreshadowing. Wow, a desert. Amazing. It's funny how there's no spawns there. You know, I just thought of something that I've never thought of before. If spawns were on during cutscenes, we would have seen a spawn there by once. So that confirms the spawns are off during cutscenes. I mean, we basically already knew that, but it's just more evidence of it. I just never put 2 and 2 together there. So SaltyPhry just about to be done with the cutscene here. Gonna loop around one more time because he didn't get a good view the first time. Circle around again, you know. So you saw Keku equipping the hat and a gun there. It's actually possible to press up to wrap the cursor around the bottom and then just mash. You can mash out equipping the hat and the cursor will reset to the top position, and you can mash out equipping the gun. Instead of trying to mash, mash, you can menu first and then just mash the whole thing. One of those little frame savers. That one might not even really save time. I think we do it just for swag. So you can actually skip the text here coming up that SaltyPhry is going to get from the doors locked. Let's see if we can get the text skip or if he even goes for it. Some people don't even go for it. Okay, I don't know if he went for it or if he just decided he was just going to run up to it. But if you use the key at a little bit of a distance, or if you approach from the bottom, you can actually skip that text, save a couple seconds. Keku getting a nice despawn on the crow there. Even though it's 100% spawn, you can despawn it from the left by going left far enough for it to go off screen, but not far enough to retrigger the spawn. Ooh, Salty with a nice juke there. You saw him open the B menu. That was either an accident or that may have been deliberate to give him a little bit of time to think about what he wanted to do. And Salty choosing to buy some extra rockets here. Interesting strat. Maybe he figures, you know, I'm ahead and I'm going to play it safe. A lot of people will just go straight to Boogie. But if either the BBR rolls low or if the other rocket hits, you're really in trouble. I mean, you can finish the fight off with psi attacks from Ness and Paula, but you really don't want to be in a position to have to do that. Keku taking the safer route for the despawn, or excuse me, not the despawn, the photo skip. And then you saw Salty had a snake there. Those will actually always run from you. Sometimes they can be a little scary when you first see them. And here we go. the namesake of the tournament, Boogey Tent. Oh, he used a defense spray. His defense went up. 464, not bad, not bad. It's going to go into a second round. You saw that he did defend BBR. That's to guarantee that the rocket gets off. And Boogey Tent down for SaltyPhry. So this is going to be a W going to SaltyPhry. Congratulations to him on winning his Super Series match against kekumanshoyu. Timing ends when he gets the fly honey. Now the BBR, just to talk a little bit about that strat, the big bottle rocket is 5 individual rockets, and they can hit anywhere from 90 to 150 damage with an average of 120. Boogey Tent has 579 HP, so what you're hoping for from Jeff is that all 5 rockets hit, which is based on speed, Jeff's speed versus Boogey Tent speed, and a random roll. So you can actually queue up a rock-in with Ness, but since Ness is higher level than Jeff, Ness will, I believe he will always go first. Whoa, it looked like Salty hit a emulator button or something. I don't know what that was. Something about movies. That might have been an accident. I'm not sure what that was, but I don't think it's an issue. But I believe his time was a 1:16:34. Congratulations to Salty, GG. Ooh, Keku not getting the goat skip there. He didn't go over far enough. There we go, we got it. But yeah, so anyway, most people will do a safety strat there and do defend BBR so that Ness doesn't do the rockin'. Because if Boogey decides to skip the Teddy, which is a 25% chance, and go straight for Jeff, if that BBR doesn't go off, you're really in trouble. Failed call for help. I tell you what, when you hear that call for help sound from a proto, you really just clench. So it looks like Salty's going to go for a little glitch here. There's actually a check area glitch. The tent is on the extreme bottom right of the map, the Earthbound map being composed of a giant sprite sheet, and this is on the bottom right, and you can actually check an off-map pixel, which is unmapped, and you can get memory corruption. A lot of crazy things can happen, so it looks like he's going to go for that. Meanwhile, Keku going for the duck skip. Ooh, we got him down. What you want is you want this duck to go left now. There we go, got it. So that's going to be a nice duck skip from Keku. That's going to be both runners getting duck skip. Let's see if Keku can get the proto skip here. Wow, Keku got both skips. Both runners got both skips. That's pretty rare. So as you can see from Salty there, he's getting corrupted text and whatnot. Crazy things can happen, with the ultimate thing being you can actually pull up the debug menu in-game. Although it was not translated when it was localized, so it just displays as gibberish, but it's fully functional. Keku getting a very nice start here to Pawn Cave. Very nice start. Yes, I see a comment in the chat about not being able to do the check area glitch in the tent with a dead kid. I actually tried it the other day, and it wouldn't work for me. I've heard people say that it doesn't work, and it didn't seem to work for me either. Nice stutter there by Keku. You can use that present to give you a little bit of extra safety, because if they actually come up to you, they can get stuck on the present. Keku despawned in there. Generally, you want to try to do a tiny stutter. We call them lazy stutters. So generally, when you stutter step, you will actually use the index finger of your dominant hand and tap on the D-pad. But we sometimes do what's called a lazy stutter, where you just use your thumb. It's not as effective, but when you're despawning, if you do the lazy stutter, the enemy will not follow you as far, and you don't have to walk as far to despawn them. It can also help prevent triggering another spawn. Say, for example, the enemy spawned like far to the left on the spawn plate. If you minimize the distance going right to despawn, you can actually despawn the enemy by making it go off screen, but not go far enough that the spawn plate goes off screen, and you can actually get a free despawn sometimes. So the final spawn plate of Pawn Cave here, and it's free. Very nice. Bubble Monkey is about to go chase some tail, literally. They actually get married later, believe it or not. I'm pretty sure they get married when you go back to later in the game. When you go to fight Shroom, you go back to the lab, and I'm pretty sure they say they got married. I mean, you know, as speedrunners, we don't read the dialogue, right? Who reads that stuff? So when talking to Endonuts here, you actually want to say no to these questions. For one of them, it really doesn't matter. I believe it's the second question you have to say no, but I could be wrong there. I just say no to both of them because I know one of them is faster to say no. For the other, if you say yes or no, I believe it's the donut. When he asks if you want a donut, I think you get the same thing. But like I said, I could be wrong. I could have them backwards. If you don't press a button here when he walks over, the Skyrunner will not begin to shake. And after a few moments, Endonuts will say, "Oh, try pressing a button." What's really bad is this is actually considered one of the quote-unquote official bathroom breaks of the run when we're doing a full glitchless run. And I've actually seen runners not press a button on Skyrunner and get up to go get a snack or whatever they want to do and come back, and Endonuts is like, "Oh, well, why don't you press a button though?" So Salty's still going at it. I haven't really seen anything too crazy there. He's had some corrupted text. You can get teleported away. I've been teleported to Tenda. I think the craziest thing I ever saw was Daniel RGT, the tournament organizer, actually got warped to Dungeon Man, went up a rope, and Jeff turned into a fish man, looking straight at the camera, and then the game froze. That text right there, the C0AQA, actually is pretty common for whatever reason. If I had to guess what is going on with the corruption there's probably some sort of text pointer being corrupted. But it has to be more than just text corruption because, as I said, you can get sound effects. I've heard the game literally go through like a sequence of every sound in the game. Music change, you can get all sorts of crazy stuff. Fun fact, there's actually a category of this game where you pull up the debug menu through the check area glitch and you warp to cutscene number 69, which is the post-credits epilogue where Picky's knocking on the door saying that he got a letter from Pokey. I know some people don't really consider a credits warp as beating the game. You know, I know some people are of the opinion that you have to beat the boss to beat the game. Some people think that warping to the credits isn't really beating the game, but it's. I think it still is interesting nonetheless. All right, we're gonna see if Keku's gonna go for the tech skip here. As I said, you can either approach the door from the bottom, or try to use the key at a distance, or excuse me, the bad key machine. Okay, he's going for the skip. Is he gonna get it? Yes, getting the skip. I wasn't sure if he was close enough. If you're too far away, it'll say use the key and nothing happened. Also have to be careful coming on this ladder. These flies can be relentless. But it's free. It's the way we like it. Ooh, got a pumpkin kid. Go away, pumpkin kid. Halloween isn't until next month. Okay, Keku opting not to buy extra rockets. He's just going straight for Boogie Tent. Ooh, he's got a fly here. Luckily, he was able to get away from it. Sometimes you can get dogs out here, too. But once you trigger the fight, it's fine because all the spawns are cleared when you reload. Okay, Keku going for the all-out strat here with the rocket and the freeze. Luckily, got the 75% chance of Boogie hitting the bear. Not the greatest rock and roll. Oh, bad BVR roll. With the freeze, you're really hoping for solidify, which is a 25% chance, and did not get it. Oh, flash. This is one of the worst things he can do. Okay, good. It just made him cry, which reduces physical attack accuracy by 50%. Doesn't affect bottle rockets. And Boogie Tent down. That Flash is very scary because Flash Alpha has a 7 out of 8 chance to make you to make any of the kids cry. As I said, reduces accuracy with physical attacks. But he has a 1 out of 8 chance to make them feel strange, which is confusion. So what can actually happen is Boogie Tent can get the 1 out of 8 chance on confusing Jeff, and he can fire the rocket at the party, which is really quite a hilarious way to die. This is so much text to mash through, since optimally Paul will not have gotten any EXP here, and Jeff doesn't have much either. And since they got the skips in, actually I don't know if that affects it, getting the skips in Brick Road. Probably does. So there we go. Keku getting a tasty fly honey, and that is it. Great job to both runners. And again, congratulations to SaltyPhry on the win. GG to both runners. Hope you enjoyed this match of the Earthbound Super Series. Keep up to date with all of the schedule and the upcoming matches, and we will see you next time.